Hey there, everyone. This video is going over the Milestone 2 rubric. This milestone should be hopefully a little bit simpler to get started on since you already completed Milestone 1, so a lot of your big decisions have already been made. But essentially, Milestone 2 is a continuation of Milestone 1 towards the ultimate goal of completing a final business systems analysis for our fake or hypothetical designer clothing company. And this milestone is going to focus on solutions and recommendations based on the research you did for your first milestone. So you can continue using the final project template that you hopefully started with in milestone 1. It should be probably around page 6 that these technology solution section starts, but it may have changed since you started filling it out. And if you use that final project template, it is the recommendation, so you ensure that you don't miss any items you need to address. All of the critical elements are highlighted in yellow in the template. So if you are answering those questions in yellow on the template, you should not be missing any of these bullet points, which is essential to getting a full score, not only for the draft, which is a little bit of a simpler grading scale, but in your final project, it's going to be a lot more specific. So as you see, when we get later on the rubric, to get full credit here, you can have minimal or no errors. So it doesn't mean that you have absolutely no errors. It just means minimal. In the final project, it's not going to be like that. So make sure you're incorporating all the feedback that you get from your milestone 1 and 2 reviews as well. But let's just quickly go over this to make sure, just to clarify any outstanding questions. So we're starting back up in section 4, technology solutions. In this section, you're discussing how each of the two technologies meets the technology requirements that you identified in section 2. So those are the two technologies that you picked from the project scenario, which is linked for us here in case you need a reminder. And then you use your decision matrix to guide your responses. So you're basically going through your decision matrix, choosing any of out of your two technologies. You can choose which requirements it fulfills and how it fulfills those requirements for the specific company. So for the first section, section A, technology 1, you're going to focus on the first technology you chose. You're going to explain how it met the technology requirements of your business. So you need to list each of the technology requirements that it meets, and you need to explain how it meets them. And you can choose to do that however you want. You could do it in a paragraph, you could do it in a bulleted list, however works best for you to be able to explain why that technology meets the requirements of the business. Be sure to address which technology requirements the technology meets and where there are gaps. That means that you not only need to discuss the technology requirements that it does meet, the business requirements, but also the ones that it does not meet and why it's okay, or why you decided to make the decision to choose that technology despite that gap. So just make sure that you are hitting both the yeses and the nos, but in total, you should have addressed all of the business requirements, the technology requirements. Then section B is technology 2, so just the same thing over again with the second technology you chose. And then based on those explanations, you're going to move on to section 5, which is recommendations, where you recommend the technology solution that you believe is most appropriate for your business based on how well each technology meets your business technology requirements. So make sure that you're keeping in the back of your mind not only all the requirements that you just explained in the section previously, but the ultimate goals of the business owner and what she's looking for out of her technology, which if you look on your decision matrix, you'll see it's got all of those technology requirements listed for you there. And so you'll know what she's looking for and what her ultimate goals were. And if you head back to that project scenario, it will remind you, and I don't have it open right now, sorry, but it will remind you of exactly what her ultimate goals were. So make sure that, well, let's go over section 5. So when you recommend a technology solution for your business in subsection A, you defend why that solution is appropriate. So you get to be a little argumentative here, and you get to say, this is why I chose this technology solution as the best, and you need to give adequate support for that. And it's a mixture of both your decision matrix explanations and your research and academic support. So, if you've done some research on small businesses that are similar to what this business owner is looking for, and maybe they've had success stories, use that, back it up with some type of academic support. You could recommend only one technology, or you could recommend a combination of the two that you investigated. Either one is fine. Just the important part is that you have to defend why that solution is appropriate. As long as you're defending it with adequate support, you're going to get the credit there. And then finally, you explain the overall benefit of your recommended technology solution to your business, considering how it will enhance efficiency and how will it position your business for future growth as you move online. So make sure that you are specifically answering both of those questions in terms of that business. And then lastly, just also submit that decision matrix. Don't forget to include that. So when you go to submit your milestone two, you should be submitting both your decision matrix and also your milestone two. They should be two separate documents. The milestone's a Word document, the decision matrix an Excel spreadsheet. Um, and if you had questions about that, just make sure you saw my other video about decision matrices also posted in this announcement. Finally, you can see the rubric matches all of those various sections. Minimal or no errors. That means it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be a draft as long as it just has few errors. Significant errors is going to be having a lot of inaccurate information, missing required components. That's why it's really important to use that template. Make sure you're hitting all those yellow highlighted areas. If you're missing a required component, you're automatically in the significant error. Or if your defense is illogical or cursory, that's how it's kind of landing you. Missing from draft just means you missed the section entirely, basically. So, and then articulation of response is no major errors. So you can have a couple spelling syntax errors here or there. If you have a citation error, that's okay. I'll let you know, but you'll still get full credit for it. And that's because this is a draft. And like we talked about before, this is your opportunity to get lots of feedback and to incorporate that feedback into your final project. So if you have any other questions regarding Milestone 2, please either send me an email, a text, give me a call, or even post in the general questions forum so that we can all benefit from your question. Otherwise, I hope it's going well and have a great week.